Hey guys, it's Abby from Autumn with Pellinor, and today we're going to be taking a look at my page trackers throughout the year of 2020. So in my bullet journal, this was a brand new one for 2020 for me. My mum gifted me it because she's adorable, and every single month I had the same layout, which is kind of surprising because I used to be a fan of changing it up. But one of the core parts of my layout was a monthly reading tracker, and I would track how many pages I read and which books they corresponded to. And so I thought in this video we would go through it. So I'm going to take you, face you down, and let's have a look. So this is my bullet journal. It's actually going to be my bullet journal for 2021 as well. Not on purpose, just because even after I filled out my end of year stuff and set up 2021, there's still a bit left. So this should do me for the 2 years. And this is where I track my reading. So let's get into each individual month. Okay, so this is January, and if you're wondering what my strategic little piece of card is, I unfortunately didn't think that I was going to be filming this when I set it all up and drew it all out. So every single month has my spending tracker next to it. So we're getting the cardboard. But this is my January. So I managed to read a good number of books in January, but at the same time it was very much spread over a small number of days. You will see this becoming a theme. I'm not going to go through it like rote by rote, because if you're interested you can watch the wrap up for that month. In February I took part in the Thriller-a-thon as well as possibly the Contemporary-a-thon, I can't remember. But I definitely took part in the Thriller-a-thon because this is Dark Matter down here, which I loved. It became one of my favourite thrillers. This was a really great month. March was a little less successful. So you can see at the very beginning of the month here I knocked out a non-fiction, then I read a reread over a few days. This was how much I read of Priory in that month. And then this was a buddy read I did with Caitlin from My Cheshire Rabbit. I didn't do a lot of reading, but also it was March, so I think we can let me off. Then for April here, you can see on one day I just smashed out The End of the Day by Pellinor. But then prior to that I had been, as you can see, struggling to do a reread there. That is because we had to put my cat down on the 4th of April, and this book that I had picked and put on my TBR was about kittens. So it wasn't exactly going well, so it was a slow read. It was a very mediocre month. In May, things are starting to pick back up again. May is the month where I read Scullery Pleasant, I read Bedlam, and I read Priory of the Orange Tree. Finally, I just sat down and read it. I'm so glad. June was an incredibly busy reading month. A lot of it was stuff that was on my shelves, but there was also a lot from off of my shelves. I was reading a lot more work by Black authors. Should have been doing that before, but this is where I started making the effort. It's not good enough, but it's a start. So I read a lot of books here. One that is on my favourites list, little sneak peek, is The Deep, which I read very quickly because it's only a short book and I adored it so much. Then we come to July, so I took part in the Reading Rush, which of course was a shit show this year, but it helped me read quite a bit, not give them that. And I took part in the Fuck-a-thon, which is prompts about like fuck capitalism, fuck ableism, fuck racism, things like that. So basically I read a lot of awesome books this month. It was a very busy month, as you can see. At the end I just kind of went, nah, I'm done. This is it, I'm finished. But I had a really great reading month. I'm really happy with everything that I read in that month. I didn't love everything, but I got through so much, it was great. In August, you can see that I did keep that up for a little bit. I kept up the momentum, and then I remember I read this all in one day. This is the point where I started my new job. This is September, and this is the point where I realised that with the training we were doing, I didn't have to pay attention, which sounds really bad, but I didn't. So I was just reading in work when he was going through the stuff. Let me tell you, I am still at this job. I did not need to pay attention, it was fine. So I would sit and read. October! So there's a few reasons for the weirdness of this. One is I was reading Nevernight, which was a very slow read for me. I loved it, but a very slow read. And two is that at this point, some of the people who had been off from work came back, so instead of sitting and reading in my lunch break, I was talking to them. But as you can see, this is the point where they left again. So then my reading massively picked up, helped by the fact that I had finished Nevernight. Penultimately, we're in November now, and as you can see, I didn't read all that much. I didn't do too badly, I don't think. I gave both of these 5 stars, which is always nice, but a slower reading month. And then this is December. This is the last month of 2020. As you can see, the songwriting I smashed out, that's the orange there. And the singing, which is in green, that is the reread of the last books of Pellinor. Smashed that one out as well. I gave all of these 4 or 5 stars, everything I read in December. It was great. So I had a really great reading month, even if this was a little bit slow and a little bit patchy. I blame Christmas. This slot here, I don't know what happened here, probably just work was busy. And then this is literally Christmas. So yeah, that's why this didn't get done. And that is all of the reading that I did in 2020. Now I have also, let's set this aside, set up a reading tracker for 2021. This is for January. And as you can see, I can actually show you both pages because I didn't put the spending tracker next to the reading tracker. One thing I really wouldn't want to show the public with one thing I want to show the public. But yes, so I am filming this on the 2nd. This is the first thing I have done this morning. I am in my pyjamas, so that is why there's nothing on there, because every day I read my chapter a day of War and Peace. So it is a little bit changed up from before. I am actually using a different method to colour in. I've got some brush pens. Wait, let me show you. Here is the brush pen that I was using for this bit specifically, this pink here. It's not any sort of like well-known brand. My friend Georgia, who you have seen before on the channel, who's an artist, she got these for herself and decided that she didn't want them. They weren't useful for her. And I was like, oh, so then I got them. So I now use this to colour in them instead of the pencils. Don't know if that'll keep up. I'm enjoying it so far. And then I'll just use this as a little pointer now. And then this is where I'm keeping track of my chapters a day. I'm reading War and Peace throughout the year, so I'm reading 1 chapter every single day. And then I do have some overall goals, as well as this bit here being my TBR. So it is a little different. I mean, the theme, I guess I can show you the whole thing now because I haven't really filled anything in. So this is January. I have completely changed. If I find January, it's very different. I'm loving it. I really love this. And then this is, I have depression, so this is how I kind of try and keep track of one positive thing every single day. Then on this page I can show you because there's nothing in here, but this is my spending tracker. It's very basic. I want to decorate it once I've written the stuff in rather than doing it beforehand. And here is my little habit tracker. And then yeah, then just the reading. I do of course have other pages. This will track my stats. I don't particularly care. I mean I do care about my stats, but I'm also not like focusing on them. But I do like to track them. So I did this for 2020, which was very rainbow coloured, as you, oh, knocked the tripod, sorry. As you can see, my blog did better than anticipated, and I guess so did my Bookstagram there, and I got 220 subscribers on my YouTube. This is just like a little background look. I still haven't calculated the average likes for December. Look, it's the 2nd, this involves effort. I'll do it soon. So you can see it is a very different vibe that I'm going for in 2021. Truthfully, my parents gave me some washi tape, and it matched some old, like you can see that I've used. That was ripped up by a friend who's also been on the channel, Becca, who I lived with when I was at uni. She was an art student. She ripped up the book. She didn't need everything, and I went, you know what, sure. So this was used from that, so don't worry, I didn't rip up any of my books. And yes, so this will track if you guys decide to subscribe or to unsubscribe. Either way, it could be, I could have to redraw this line to have it go down and down and down. But we'll see. It's just interesting to track over time, especially for, why do I keep doing this? So especially looking over the year, at least with the ones that are graphs. It's harder with the YouTube and with the average likes, but with the ones that are graphs, you can see like stagnation. And it's just interesting to see kind of what points there were growth. It's just, I find it interesting because I was still putting out content at this point, but clearly no one really cared, or a few people cared because it went over a teeny bit. I mean, in October I was unfollowed on Instagram. That's my birthday month. That's just rude. That is how I'm tracking my reading, and those were my monthly reading tracker spreads. Back to Face Abby. And those are my page tracker pages in my bullet journal for 2020. Do you do anything similar? I know quite a lot of people obviously have bullet journals nowadays, or track their pages through Goodreads or spreadsheets. I also have Goodreads and spreadsheets, and I do a lot of tracking. But let me know how you guys track, and if you guys track like pages per day, because sometimes I can find it really motivating when I have read. And I'm like, yes, I've read so much, I can keep reading. And then sometimes I'm looking and I'm like, I've read 10 pages. And this was a fucking mistake. So it is like a varying thing as to whether it helps me or not. I am trying to think of if I want to keep it the same way for 2021 or if I want to change it up a bit. I don't know yet. But yes, let me know in the comments down below, and put in the comments down below the writing emoji, the paper with the pen or pencil on it. This one. Put it down below. And if you are on computer, as I often am when watching videos, and get pissed off at this, it's in the description for you, because I'm not evil. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!